but with flavor,
Awesome. All right. Hey, we're live. We're sorry. We had a few
Awesome.
uh, technical difficulties here
Yeah.
getting up on the station. So we're live now on Facebook, Instagram. Well, not Instagram, but Facebook and YouTube on the Roasters Market and the Common Grounds podcast page tonight. We're talking with Wilfredo. Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Wilfredo?
Yeah. You can call me Will. It's easier.
All right. We're talking with Will with Liam and Ian Coffee Roasters out of Salt Lake City, Utah tonight.
Yeah.
Um, originally back, I think I talked to you first time in December,
I
and
think so. Yeah.
I think we had an awesome conversation. I think we talked 2 or 3 times before you came on board,
Yeah.
and it was really exciting getting you on board. And I really want to share your story with everybody out there that's watching tonight, and that'll tune into the podcast later, because it's such an amazing journey that you've had, and your coffee. It's if you haven't ever ordered anything from Liam and Ian's Coffee Roasters, he only does one coffee. He only does one variety at this point,
Yep.
and you do a light roast, a medium roast, and a dark roast of that one bean.
Yep.
And it is such a cool thing to be able to take and see the difference, what that roast profile, the roast profile makes on those beans, even though it's from the same place. Just how you roast those beans, it comes across so well in the product. I've got a really good buddy. He might be watching tonight, and he's ordered from you 2 times, I think, so far. He's ordered both the batches. And when I told him that you were out of the Colombian, he was heartbroken.
The Colombian Nariño was really, really good.
It was really good. It was really good. That was one of my favorites so far. So enough about that portion of the coffee. So go ahead, Will, and tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got into coffee, and what you got going on there in Utah.
Well, I grew up basically between Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. My dad is from the Dominican Republic. My mom is from Puerto Rico. And so I was born in Puerto Rico, but they moved to Dominican Republic when I was a baby. And so I knew about coffee since I was a little kid. That was my grandma's break time in the afternoon snack, like a cup café con leche, coffee with milk, and a piece of bread with butter. That was the afternoon snack for us. And so I knew about coffee since I was a young boy. And then I went back to Puerto Rico, and I drank more coffee, of course, the Caribbean, that coffee area. And so I went to college. I went for civil engineering. So, and you can bet I drank a lot of coffee, trying to stay awake between classes and all that. Then I came here to Salt Lake City to visit a friend. And I fell in love with the place. The city is so beautiful. The people are great. Mountains are beautiful. And so I told my wife, hey, we're moving to Utah. And she's from New York, and she looked at me like, what? Like, what happened? So anyway, we end up here, and she fell in love with this place too. So I started working as a quality engineer with General Electric. And so, of course, I had to study a little bit more, studying for different certifications I got here. And I got into coffee. Then, for some reason, I can't remember if I saw it in a video or if I read it somewhere. I read that if you need to put sugar in your coffee, it's not good coffee. And that caught my attention. It's like, what are you talking about? I always put sugar in my coffee because coffee is bitter. So that caught my attention. And then the next time I went to Starbucks, I ordered my regular coffee without sugar, and I tasted and I couldn't drink it. I was like, oh man, this is so bitter and so burnt. But they have their own reasons. They do a lot of like milk based drinks, so you need a strong coffee to stand out, right? And so I went to a local coffee shop. Turned out that he's a local roaster, and he gave me an Ethiopian coffee, and that blew my mind. I was like, how is this possible? This coffee tastes like blueberries, and it's really bright and crisp. And that's how I got into specialty coffee. Like, man, since since then I was always been chasing that perfect cup, that perfect cup. So I started brewing coffee at my home, doing V60s, French press, the mocha pots. Well, you have seen a couple
Oh
of
yeah.
my pictures, and I'm really into the mocha pots. They're so easy to do, and man, I got into this. I fell in love with the specialty coffee side, and then of course you learn about the farmers and how direct trade and all these programs helped the farmers stay in business. So I even fell in love even more with the people, what they want to do, what they want to achieve, and all that.
How did you get into roasting?
Well, I'm a geek. Well, engineer, of course. I like math and all this. I like into looking into how things work and how to make it better. And then I was afraid. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anything about this. But then I just said, let me give it a try. And I got a hot air popcorn popper, and that's how I started roasting my own coffee. And then suddenly I end up placing a temperature probe in the popcorn popper, and I was like controlling the heat and airflow in the popcorn. It's really geeky stuff, and yeah, I was doing graphs in Excel and all that, and then I noticed that my coffee was way better than most of the coffees they sell around here. And I was like, how's that possible? That I know nothing at the time. I know nothing. I only have a kitchen appliance. And how's my coffee taste better than them? That's impossible. That can't be. Why? And I was thinking about it and said, you know what? Maybe the quality of the coffee is not that good. And I'm paying 14, 16, $18 a bag for coffee that is not worth that. And and that and so that was it. I was starting to looking into, well, once you start looking into other businesses, and then you see, oh man, they don't have anything, no quality system. The beans are just stored there getting dry, and this is a really dry place. Yeah, Salt Lake City is like 20% humidity, so you have to take care of the green beans, otherwise they will get dry really fast. So you need to have quality controls and all that, and to make really good coffee. So, and I said, well, I like this. I'm really passionate about it. Apparently, I'm doing a way better job than these guys over here. I'm sorry to say that, but that was my motivation. And I said, well, I'm gonna do something, and I'm going to because I had a dream of doing something, building a business, and leave it to my kids so they don't have to fill out a job application ever. So that's my dream right there.
And what size? So I know when we first set this up, you were only roasting on Sundays. Do you have your own roaster that you're roasting on now, or are you toll roasting on somebody else's roaster?
No, I have my own roaster.
How big?
Yeah.
How big of a roaster do you have?
I have a 1 kilo roaster, just a small 1 kilo. Yep.
So when our customers go in and order from you, you're literally roasting that bag of coffee, or 2 or 3, I guess you can get out of one batch, right? But I mean,
yeah, I get usually I'm using 75% of the capacity of the roaster, because that's one big problem we roasters have. Like the roaster says, oh, 1 kilo, but
yeah, no, not getting it.
No, it's not gonna get there. I mean, at least not on the times and the flavors you want to achieve, right? And so I'm using 75%. So I'm getting 2 bags of coffee per batch right now. Yeah, and yeah, that's. But I basically roast on Sundays, and sometimes Mondays.
All right. I think the bags you sent me, you roasted on the 17th. It said,
yeah, that was on the
Monday,
bag. Right?
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah,
and it's
Monday.
pretty
yeah.
cool to be able to get roast on Monday. It was still actually warm from the roaster when I got them today.
Basically,
and really, really, really good. So
yeah.
I want to go back because a lot of people have always asked me, technical questions after the show, or they're like, hey, you should have I really would have liked to know more about that. So when we're talking about coffee roasting, and I've
Mhm.
watched it a couple times now,
Yeah.
and I've watched and read a lot on coffee roasting, so I've never actually physically did it. But when you're saying capacity, what you mean by capacity is there's only so much you can fit in your roaster. And
Yeah.
then if you fit a pound or a kilo in there, I should say,
Mhm.
if you put that whole kilo in there, it takes longer for that coffee to get up to temperature and start
Yeah.
cooking even. And so what you're having to do is you're having to not fill it up as much. That way it gets to your roast profile faster or at the
That.
proper time, right?
Yeah, because it's not the vendor might say, "Oh, this is a 1 kilo roaster," but yeah, you might fit 1 kilo inside the drum. But if the power is not there, it's the BTUs that right. Because that's the key right there. The BTUs that your roaster can put out is not enough to roast 1 kilo in the proper times. Then you're gonna have to lower your batch so you can, just like you said, so you can reach your proper times and your profile and everything.
Because that's even the problem. I don't know how much Chris can roast. The guy I was hanging out with last week at
Yeah.
Purify.
Yeah.
I want to say it was a 5 kilo
Okay.
roaster,
Yeah.
and he was only doing 3.5, 4 at a
Mm-hmm.
time,
Mm-hmm.
so he could hit his numbers at the right
Yep.
temp and at the right time and get it and hear that first crack and pull it, because he was roasting some medium light stuff that wasn't
Yeah.
getting ever to second crack. And it was a pretty cool thing to see. And that level of attention only happens at this small batch level. I mean, it really does. And
Yeah.
that's why I really love having you guys on the website, is because uh, the attention that each bean is getting really comes through
Mm-hmm.
on the product. Um, when you're looking for your next roast, when you're
Mm-hmm.
looking for your next batch of green, how do you go about selecting that?
Well, right now, I don't know if you remember, but I posted something on my Instagram page. I'm choosing between 7 coffee beans because I'm working on having a house blend, if you want to call it.
Right.
And so I first think about what I want to achieve in the cup. So what flavor, what body, acidity, all these nuances, right? So I go from there. So okay, so if I want to have a heavy body, so I will go with a natural processed coffee. So if I want something really crisp, flavors are really something fruity and crisp and clean. So I will go with a wash bean. So basically, I look for what I want to achieve in the cup, and then I go from there. And then flavor notes and so on. And yeah, so right now I cup from Papua New Guinea. I cup from Ethiopia, Kenya, Peru, and I did some Costa Rican coffee. So I also did some Congo beans, but I didn't. It wasn't what I wanted. It was interesting,
Yeah.
really earthy and like spices and stuff, but it's not what I'm looking for right now.
Was it a robusto or was it a arabica?
No, Arabica. Yeah,
Really
Arabica.
from? I haven't seen one from Congo. That'd be
Yeah,
that'd be interesting to get a hold
I
of.
mean, like I said, it was good, but it wasn't what it's not what I'm looking for. And right now, I don't have the. Maybe at some point I will get there. Like I will have like maybe 10, 15 offerings, type of beings, different beings. But for now, I'm just focusing maybe in 2, 3, 4 type of beings.
Yeah, it definitely it's definitely a challenge to pick out what you're going for on that end,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
And you've got a pretty good local source there that you get your green from.
No, I buy from different importers around the states, right? Because I get a better price. Interesting. So this Nicaraguan, this one was really interesting one because I met they have a cool story. It's like this person had this coffee processing plant plus a bunch of farms. And with the problem with the communist governments and all this, the government came in and took his farms away, and he only had the coffee processing plant. So right now, his children and his grandkids, they are the ones running the coffee plant, and they're buying directly from the farms around them, right? So, and they are the ones importing the coffee right here. So I love that because that means that I was the third person in the coffee chain, right? To touch
Right.
that coffee. It went from the coffee farm to the plant, from the plant right here to the States to me. So it was amazing. That's why, well, you taste it. You try the coffee.
Yeah.
It's really clean, really, really nice coffee.
It's amazing how technology is allowing us to
Yep.
get that chain so close to where it is now, where there's 3 or 4 hands touching the coffee, so to speak.
Yep.
When it used to be 15, that is
Yes.
15 handle, 15 people handling that coffee before it ever got to the consumer, and now we're cutting that down to 3 or 4. And there was one of our customers that got ordered 4 separate. Actually, one of your bags last week was a big order. It was 4 separate bags. Actually, it was 7 bags, 8 bags, because he ordered 2 sample packs. So he
Okay.
got 3 bags of coffee from one guy, 3 bags of coffee from another roaster, 1 of your bags, and a bag from another one. So he had 4 boxes coming from 4 different corners of the United States.
Yeah, it's
And
amazing.
they all arrived. And I never touched the coffee. It doesn't come to me. So whenever you order it, whenever our customers order it from the website,
Yeah.
you roast it, you pack it, and you ship it. And the only other hands that might touch it in the whole chain, I've got a few people that their wives drop it off at the post office for them, or their buddies drop it off at the post office.
Yeah.
But we're able to reduce that chain so far to
Yeah.
the point where now we're talking about a farmer, and in your case with the Nicaraguan,
Nicaragua.
a farmer, a processor, you,
Yeah. And the customer.
and the customer.
It's amazing.
It's
and the
really
coffee,
cool.
the coffee is so fresh. That coffee didn't get parked at a warehouse for months and months, and then I bought it. No, it went so fast. That was so fast that's why it's tasting so good.
It's really, really, really good. When you get the beans, well, hold on, we hit that. When you go to roast, what's your favorite part of the roasting process?
Ooh. There's a point before first crack that the coffee has really, really how you say that, like unique smell. When I roast, I use a lot of my senses, my smell, my sight. I'm always chasing the smells. That's a cue for me to what to do during the roasting process. And just before first crack, the smell is just wonderful, and I can see that quality again when I'm cupping the coffee. Once after roasted, once I brew the coffee, I can see that again in the cup. So that part there, that's what I think I got me in love with the roasting process, because it's amazing. And then yeah, all the geekiness of watching the graphs and hitting the right times and doing my calculations and all that. Yeah, that's good too. But it's that part before first crack that gets me. It's amazing. I don't know if you've noticed that when you did your roasting.
It's a different smell. It
Right, it's like
wasn't
a smell that tinkles your nose, and
Yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting at all whenever
yeah.
I walked in. And I should have listened to everybody who was telling me that, because I think we've talked about it on every show. But
Mhm.
there was definitely definitely different smells than what I would have associated with coffee.
Oh yeah.
And not in a negative way. They were all really, I would almost go for the fresh baked, some sort of baked goods,
Yeah,
or something really
baked bread.
like baked bread,
Yeah.
or a almost not really a sourdough, but like
Mm-hmm.
just a
Like
really
muffin.
oaty muffin smell. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
it's really, really awesome. I wish we could package that up and send it to people.
Yeah.
Um, so you've been hitting the mocha pot up really hardcore.
Yeah.
I've never ever messed with one. So explain a mocha pot, where it comes from, and if you can for me, and like what you use it for, because it's basically a stovetop espresso, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not espresso because it doesn't hit the same brew pressure, but is pretty strong. So basically, let's see. Do I have one here? Let me check. Yeah, I have one here. Wait. In the box. So let's see. Yeah, I'm taking it out. I'm
I think
taking it out.
I think
Let's
that's
see.
going to be my next buy. Was a mocha pot, or I've been looking at
There you go.
metal filters for AeroPress. Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
there you go. Yep. So this one is a stove top brewer, and it brews a really strong cup of coffee. And I had been using it a lot for light roast coffees because this thing gives the only downside of this is that it makes a little bit bitter coffee if you grind too fine. But with the light roasted coffee, it is amazing. So you can make like your cappuccinos with that because it's a strong cup of coffee, so it will stand out in the milk. You can do great americanos, even affogatos. You know what affogato is, right? You can put that on top of ice cream.
Oh,
You
okay.
haven't tried that with
No,
ice
no,
cream?
no, I
Oh
haven't.
my, that's amazing. Uh, so you put vanilla ice cream, and then you put a little bit of espresso or coffee like this mocha pot on top of it. Oh man, that's my favorite topping, of course, for
The,
ice cream.
the I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, um, yeah, and I've been using this since forever, and it's really easy. And I guess then you can take a French press, and you can froth your milk with the French press, and you can do a cappuccino in no time. Really cheap. I mean, I paid like $8 for this one, so it's really cheap. So
I'll have to definitely get on there. I was debating between that or one of the little metal screens, and for my AeroPress. That way I could
yeah.
get a little bit more crema for the when I'm pulling a shot out of the AeroPress, because
Hmm.
I've been messing with that. My wife really likes the lattes, really like cafe lattes, and so
Yeah.
we're dairy free at our house. So
Mm.
or they are. I'm not, but my wife and my kids are. So
Okay.
we've been experimenting with the oat milk, because
Hmm.
it actually foams up to a good point where you can use it for a cappuccino or a latte
Yeah.
really nice. And so I've been kind of experimenting with that, and I'm getting used to that. But those mocha pots, I've been having my eye on what you've been doing with them, and
Yeah.
it looks interesting.
And like I said, they're pretty cheap. You can get one, like the small one costs like $6, $8 at the TJ Maxx, one of those places like that. And give it a try. It's really nice. And like I said, it brews a really strong cup of coffee, and you will make really good cappuccinos and stuff. Just
Okay.
like what you're looking for.
Okay. We'll have to do that. We'll have to get on Amazon and pull one up here tonight and get it ordered. Um, and so is the mocha pot your favorite way to brew, or what's your favorite way to brew right now? Because
Uh,
I change on a weekly basis. Well,
Me too.
I'm stuck on V60, but I know you've everybody's been seeing the liter of coffee I've been making in the morning
Yeah.
in the French press. That's my wife's. She takes all of that.
Oh
That's
wow,
all
really?
of, yeah. She
Nice.
finishes most of that before she ever leaves for work, and then she's been kind of under the weather, so she's been taking the rest of it in a thermos. So she takes that liter of French press coffee. So I've been doing that and a V60 every morning for the last couple of weeks for,
Nice. You
but that's what we're rolling.
must be a brewer expert now.
I'm getting
By now.
I need to take one of the SCA barista classes, or the homebrew classes. I really would
Okay.
like to get into one of
Nice.
those.
So, well, right now it depends because if I want to, I have espresso machine. I have these mocha pots. I have the V60. I have the Clever Dripper, which I sell on the website. And I like the Clever Dripper because it's really super easy, and you can get almost as good as a V60 brew with that one. And it comes with a lid that you can trap the heat inside, and it's great. I've been playing with the AeroPress. You saw I'll send you. Yeah, I
Yeah,
sent you a
yeah.
couple of texts that I saw it so cheap that couldn't say no. So I'm using the AeroPress, playing with that, learning how to use it basically. And but let's see. But I will say, yeah, the Mocha Pot is really good because it doesn't have a paper filter. It brews a strong cup of coffee, so I can make an Americano. From this, you can make like a huge pot of coffee. If you diluted this, you can do great Americanos there. And or if you want to just do with milk on a milk-based drink, you can do it too. It will stand out really well. So yeah, that this little thing, man, I love it. It's really useful.
For somebody who might be watching out there who just has a drip coffee maker, that's all
Mhm.
they've got, what would you recommend for their first adventure into another brewing method? Where would you suggest they start?
Oh wow. Well, well, that's a hard question, but I think my best advice will be go to a local coffee shop, and I'm pretty sure they have different methods like V60s or French press or different types of brew methods, and just have fun. Go there and try different ones. A French press is a really good one because it's super easy, uh, and you can make a lot of stuff with a French press. So, but yeah, just go to a local coffee shop and have fun. Experiment, see what you like, and then go from there. Um, but if yeah, that would be my best advice. Just to
Try a
try
couple.
it. Yeah,
Try a couple different methods and see which one you like.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I told my wife a couple weeks ago she went to have coffee with her sister at
Hmm.
the Blue Door Cafe. Awesome little coffee shop that we have here locally,
Nice,
that actually uses Chris's, so purifies. He's a local roaster, and he roasts for them. They're one of his customers.
nice.
And so when she went, I was like, hey, don't get a latte, don't get a cappuccino, don't do that. Get a pour over. Go in and order a pour over and really enjoy the coffee. Go for the coffee. And she sent me a picture later, and she's sitting there, and she's got a big cup pour over. They
Nice.
did the pour over right there for her, and she really, really enjoyed it. And then a week later, I had the same beans at the house. So it was
Nice.
it was pretty cool to be able to do. I think I would definitely recommend for somebody getting in on it, if they were going to start, I would think going for a French press because it's
Yeah,
pretty
French press
easy.
is, yeah, it's
Yeah,
super
it's
easy. Anything that's uh, anything that is you have to steep the coffee in, right? Immersion brewing type of brewing device. Yeah, that will be a really good place to start. It's super easy.
yeah. You don't need a special
It's
kettle. You
it's
don't need.
hard. Yeah, it's hard to mess a French press up.
Yeah, yeah. It's you can, but it's
It's really hard.
it's really hard. It's awesome. Uh, when you brew a French press, what do you do your typical ratio?
I always go 1 to 17.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 to 17, medium. The same, basically the same grind I use for a drip cup coffee. I notice it tastes better. And that's what I use. And I start there. Sometimes a coffee tastes better 1 to 19. Sometimes tastes better 1 to 16. So it depends on the coffee. But 1 to 17 is a good place to start.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome place to start when you're especially if you're trying to roast for the first time. Uh, I had a Peruvian coffee 2 days
Nice.
ago from Trail Creek, one of the new roasters I got. I'm fixing to have a
Mm-hmm.
kid. Hold on. Hey,
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 Daddy,
it's okay,
your
baby.
bowl looks
It's okay.
big.
It's okay. I was just worried that she didn't have any clothes on, but we're good. She
Okay.
had jams on. We're
Kids,
good.
yeah,
Yeah,
I've
we're
been
good.
there. I've been
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Oh, by
But
the way, I love when you post pictures of your kids and your families. I love those pictures,
oh,
man.
thanks,
Those
man.
kids are
Thanks.
awesome.
They're they're definitely an adventure. So that's one reason why I do this from home. Is so
Yep.
I work from home. I run everything from the house, so I can make sure they're where they need to be when they need to be there. So
Yep.
it's a definite adventure. Uh,
Yep.
but when we're anyway, Peruvian. I,
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking. I was like, oh, it's a Peruvian. And looked at it was a medium roast, and I ground it up, threw it in the V60, and I brewed it way too strong. I wasn't
Okay.
expecting it to have the depth that it did, and
Mm-hmm.
I probably could have got away with either a little bit coarser of a grind or less coffee. I did a 1 to 15, and it was really good, but that's not what I was expecting for a 3 o'clock in the afternoon coffee. It was now
you,
tomorrow.
you felt the kick.
Yeah, it was really, really good and really, uh, it was, I would have said it had a more characteristics of a darker roast than what it would have been with the color that it was roasted and the fact that he had marked, that it was a
Yeah.
medium roast. It had a lot more of your really deep, smoky, toasted,
Mm-hmm.
really, really deep notes on it. And I was not expecting it. And it was really good. But that brings, okay, maybe I should go for a 1 to 17 or a 1 to 18 when I'm trying something new. That way I can
or
get,
or you can try a lower temperature of the
yeah,
water. So I usually, when I go for a dark roast, I like to, when I brew in a dark roast, I go for like 195, maybe 190, and it tends to make the coffee sweeter.
sweeter. Yep.
Now, a light roast coffee, I like to, 200, 202, because you need to, extract all those flavors.
And for people watching out there, there's multiple different ways of getting that temperature where you need to be. One of the
Mm-hmm.
easiest ways is getting one of the kettles that have the thermometer built into the top of it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You can there's some really decently priced pour over kits on Amazon for, I think you can get the pour over, the filter, the tea kettle, and maybe some filters for less than $40. I think
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the full kit. I'd like to get on there and make some recommendations. I'll do that in the comments below. But a scale for under $10, because that's really important as is weighing your coffee out. So one, you get every bean possible out of that bag.
Yeah.
And I'll get down to sometimes. I know I'll do it with those. You sent me 3 6-ounce bags, and I'll get down to the point where I have enough to maybe make a 17 or 20 gram brew of 1 cup, and I'll do it. I'll throw that in the AeroPress, and I'll make that
Yeah.
one little cup. I won't waste.
Mm-hmm.
I won't waste a
Nothing.
bean. I
Nothing.
won't waste a
Yeah.
bean.
Yeah, I know. In there. That's what I do.
And Doug Simmons, I'm going to throw his comment up here. Doug's from Fuzzy Monkey. He's one of
Uh-huh.
our other roasters.
Oh
He
yeah,
says,
I
oh,
love their packaging. It's so
he's got
awesome.
some, yeah, he's got some awesome stuff. Electric kettle with built-in temp control works great, Doug says.
Yeah.
That's a
Yes.
great idea. That is a
Yeah,
great idea.
and you can find them really cheap, actually. So if you can get that one, yeah, do it. And for people watching, is I didn't think coffee was so good. when I used to go out and buy lattes and cappuccinos and stuff like that. Once you start buying fresh roasted coffee, like the one I sent you, that it was roasted Monday, in if you use good water and if you use a good brewing method, you will be amazed how different that coffee tastes. You will actually enjoy your coffee. You don't have to put sugar in your coffee if you don't want to, because all the notes are there. All it's amazing, really. I didn't know that. That's why I fell in love with when I went to that local coffee shop. It blew my mind because I didn't have any idea that coffee can taste that good.
Yeah, I've always ordered Americanos when I went out and didn't really pay attention and dump a lot of cream or dump a lot of sugar in it afterwards. I never really paid attention until I really got into specialty coffee. And now I'm still a cream and sugar guy first thing in the morning. I've got a sweet tooth, but after that I'll do a lighter roast during the afternoon or do something over ice, and
I like that one.
It's
over ice tastes really good.
Tastes very good. There's some really cool methods. I'm going to try out your light roast over to do the Chemex over ice.
Yeah.
And see how that works. I think that'll be a fun adventure.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So so and one thing I want to now that we're talking about coffee, how good can it be and all that, I want to tell you, Chris, that I fell in love with your business idea when I saw it. I saw your on Instagram. I saw your business, and then when I read, okay, what's this all about? And I fell in love because now people can have access to so many micro roasters, and I'm pretty sure that all of them, just like me, we are so in love with coffee. We are so in love with producing the best we can produce, and you can get it at home. You can get amazing coffee at home through your business, and you are uniting all of us. Now I see a lot of micro roasters just like me from all around the country because of your business. And isn't that amazing?
It's cool. Thank you. It's been a lot of fun. And I'm behind. I've got like 3 roasters I need to get up on the website. And taxes have stuck up on me, and getting all this done and trying to get the 2 different podcasts that I'm out there to spread the word out there of our business. And last night we were on one of my friends' channels, and over 2,000 people. Last time I looked, over 2,000 people had been reached by that podcast that we did last night. We only had like 400 or 500 people that had watched more than like 6 or 7 seconds, but they saw the brand. They saw it. They at least saw the broadcast. They could go back and listen to it. I think we just maybe broke 50 plays on the podcast, on the actual audio podcast.
Hey, wow, nice.
So it's spreading the message, and that's really what I've been wanting to do here from day one when I started talking to you guys out there about. I was like, wow, this is really cool, man. You're an engineer. You came from here, and now you're in Utah of all places, roasting coffee. Is that legal in Utah to do that? I mean, that's one of the first things I was like, okay, so it's just a really, really cool process. And everybody I've got up on the website is at the same, I think Tim from Evansville probably has the biggest setup, I think, from talking to him. He's got a pretty 3 or 4 roasters, I think it is. Oh. If he's watching, he can correct me, but he's got the 1 kilo up to like a 10 kilo. So
nice.
It's my wife says meet the roaster is my favorite part. I love hearing each roaster's story. It's also unique and inspiring. What she also means to say is her second favorite part is the coffee.
She got all the coffee
in the morning and fix her before she goes to work. But anyway, for somebody who's watching who hasn't ordered yet, what do you recommend they try? And on that note, we've got to talk and get your 3 6-ounce bags up as an
Yeah.
option for you, as well as a sample pack. So remind me tomorrow, and we'll figure out
For sure.
for that one. So for somebody new to fresh roasted coffee, what do you recommend they do?
Well, of course, buy that trio, that three samples pack, because you will get the light roast, the medium, and the dark of the same bean. So that's great because you will get to see how the same bean changes over the whole roasting process, right? And then you will see, okay, maybe I like the crispiness of a light roast in the morning, or maybe in the afternoon. I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you will like a medium or a dark, and you will say, okay, now I know what I want. And you will, when you start playing with that different type of beans, different type of coffee, you will learn a lot, uh, and your palate will get more refined, right? And you will start having fun.
Yeah, it's definitely an adventure in taste every time you get a new bag, because it I haven't had a single one that I could say, oh, that tastes like this. Oh, that tastes like the other one.
Yeah.
There's notes and stuff that's universal on uh like Costa Rican or Guatemalan. Central
Yes.
America really has a really distinct flavor. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the farther south you go, the little bit it changes. Africans, the Kenyans and the Ethiopians,
Yeah.
especially the Ethiopians, have a distinct notes.
Yeah.
And then everywhere is a little bit different. I need to get on and do some tours to where it's like, okay, you start here, and I'll take you through each country from a different roaster. That's
Nice.
down the road. But one of the things I like about our website and what I'm doing is the fact, if you can go online and find 1,000 different roasters. You can go online and find other people who are doing the same concept that I'm doing, but nobody's focusing on Will. Nobody's focusing
Yeah.
on uh, Doug or Tim or Joseph. The guys I've had on and the guys I'm going to have on, and nobody's getting on and telling your story. And I think that's the thing that sets me apart. And I think it's one of the biggest draws
Yes.
is you can go on, and as I build the website out, and you can go on and go look a couple weeks ago on Unrest's page, and you can watch the video of me and Brian talking. And here in a
Yeah.
couple of days, I'll have this video up on the website to where you're the feature of your page, and there's so many stories to tell. And I just want to grow and share the coffee, because it's just like they can get on and order your coffee, and they can get on and go to your Facebook, and they can get on and go to my Facebook or Instagram and say, hey, this is awesome coffee. I
Yeah.
really liked it. Or they can come back and say, hey, I didn't like it because whatever reason,
Yeah.
and we can solve that issue if we can't come to it. But it's just such a cool one-on-one relationship that goes with something that typically has a relationship element to it anyway. I mean, the
Yeah.
first time I see my wife in the morning after we get up is
Drink
when she comes in and
coffee.
gets her cup of coffee,
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's, hey, maybe the kids are upstairs playing, and we get it in the afternoon, and we get to sit down for 36 seconds and enjoy 2 sips of coffee with each other. And that's our special part of the day. But
Yeah.
tell us where you're carried locally there in Salt Lake City.
Yeah. There's a local Puerto Rican restaurant in downtown area called Papito Mo's. If you ever come to Salt Lake City, you need to check that restaurant out. Their cooking is amazing, and they're serving my coffee, and they're selling bags, and I'm selling over my website, and of course through your website too. We are tomorrow. We're visiting another one coffee shop that we're gonna talk with them to see if they will, start carrying our coffee. And the local newspaper right here in Harriman, where I live, did a video, and we're gonna start doing some marketing through them. And Yeah, we've been working and towards that goal to have to reach out as many coffee places, coffee shops as we can.
It's an amazing for anybody that's watching that might have a show or might have a shop or might have a friend that runs a restaurant. I highly encourage y'all to find a local coffee roaster.
Yep.
If you're in Utah, hit up Will at Liam and Ian, but hit up your local coffee roaster and get their coffee in your shop. It's going to be better than
Way
whatever
better.
you're getting.
Way better.
It's going to be way better quality,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to say, "Hey, it's from down the road. It was roasted
Yep.
2 days ago," and
Mm-hmm.
people won't. They'll come back and you'll save money on cream. You won't have to be giving away cream as much because they'll
Yeah,
be drinking the
yeah,
coffee.
exactly. And but yeah, but also it's important. That's one of my goals is to help those coffee. It's unbelievable. Cafeterias and small restaurants, they don't know about coffee, how to brew it right. And sometimes I go to a restaurant and what I try is not good at all. So wait a minute, this is not good. So when you like this restaurant, I'm selling my coffee to. They didn't know anything. They like coffee, but they didn't know how to brew it. So I sat down with them and I helped them to buy a grinder because they wanted me to grind it for them. And I told them it's better if you grind it before brewing it because it's going to be way better. I mean, it's going to be fresh. It's going to be crisp. The aroma is going to be better, and it's going to be better for your customer at the end, right? So I show them how to do it, how to calculate the brew ratios, and now they they're doing really good. People are love their coffee. They're buying a cup of coffee and then they buy a bag of coffee with them. So it's really interesting to see that people that trying to make it and they don't know how to brew a cup of coffee, and then you come in, help them, and now they're doing business that you're
Mhm.
helping them. So and I doing business too. So it's a win-win.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yep.
It's the small business helping another small business who's
Yeah.
helping a small
Yes.
business in a foreign country even out, and everybody's winning,
Yeah.
and then the customer's getting really good coffee. So
That's right. Yep.
it's good. What are your plans for Liam and Ian in the future?
Oh, well, I'm shooting to sell more coffee, of course, and buy a bigger roaster, get a coffee shop, coffee bar, and then reach out to supermarkets and more coffee bars around town. So yeah, we have huge plans. It's not going to be easy. We're learning a lot, but yeah, the dream is alive, and we're going after it.
Awesome. I appreciate you joining us tonight, Will. I really appreciate you getting on Roasters Marketplace. I think if I go back, I could see. I think you were the fifth or sixth roaster maybe that we had on. I don't remember,
One
but
of the first ones.
you were definitely one of the first ones, and it was. We were talking, and you were had just got the label, I think,
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it was, and we're rolling it out. So it's a really neat process. I love how you're doing. Don't ever stop the three roasts. Don't ever stop the light and medium and
Yeah,
dark, because it's such a awesome experience to be able to go in
exactly.
and get the same bean roasted three different ways and see the different flavor profiles. I love it. I love that's what you're doing.
Yeah, as a customer, that was one thing I was always chasing, trying to answer all those questions I had in my mind, right? So I thought, well, you know what? Let me do this. That way people can taste the difference, right? Across the whole spectrum. And they can taste the same bean different ways, different roast levels, and they will enjoy, right? Enjoy
Yeah.
better the coffee.
And that's what the name of the game is right there. Better
Yeah.
coffee, and
Yes.
treat yourself to better coffee. It's like I did a podcast 2 days ago here at the house. I had local podcast a local podcaster come in and do an interview with me that I'll air here in a couple weeks. But that was what start the day as best you can. Get up, make your bed. That's my military background. Get up, make your bed, start the day on a positive note, and brew yourself a really good cup of coffee. That way you start the day with as much stuff going for you as possible, because sometimes that day's not going to turn out good by the end, you know. But if you can start it off with some really good coffee that helps out multiple people before it ever got to you, is a great way to ensure success. That's
and when you have good coffee and when you brew it right, that's one thing I learned. For those people out there that are looking for to brew a better cup of coffee, use good water. That's really important. Don't use tap water. Use really good water for your coffee. Of course, buy fresh roasted coffee. When you have a really good cup of coffee, the flavors last longer, right, in your mouth, and you're like, wow, that coffee. Like an hour later, you're still like, man, that cup of coffee was really good.
It's really good.
So, yeah, that's a unique experience.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Yeah. No, thanks, man. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.